Hello guys, welcome to another episode of Storylines Explained. To this episode, we'll be looking at the story of Lucius from 2012. Well, without waiting, let's get into the video. Introduction. Lucius is a survival horror video game developed by Finnish studio Shiver Games and published by Lace Mamba Global for Microsoft Windows. The new Dark Sky Films project is centered on the 6-year-old boy Lucius, who is the son of Lucifer. Horror-loving audiences will get right into the gore and the action as Lucius murders members of his household, using powers of telekinesis and mind control to orchestrate deadly accidents that lead to the deaths of multiple residents of Dante Manor. Players use their wits and follow hints to ensure they do not leave any evidence that would lead to a mission failing. A sequel, Lucius 2: The Prophecy, was announced on the 8th of August 2014 and was released in February 2015. A second sequel, Lucius 3, was announced on the 27th of August 2018 and released on the 13th of December 2018. Plot. On the night of the 6th of June 1966, Lucius Wagner is born. Meanwhile, a satanic cultist performs a ritual, causing a shadowy figure to reach the room in which Lucius was born. Lucius' childhood is spent in the luxurious manor house on the private estate of his father, Charles Wagner, and his wife, Nancy, was as normal as every kid's young years, excluding the extreme wealth of his parents. Unbeknownst to young Lucius, part of his family's wealth comes from his grandfather, Fabius, who had ties with the mob. After celebrating on the night of his 6th birthday, he is visited by Lucifer, who instructs him to lock a maid in the freezer after everyone else has gone to bed. While Lucius is asleep, he is once again visited by Lucifer, this time revealing himself to be Lucius's true father. Before sending him off, he gives Lucius a task. As part of a debt the family owes, Lucius must kill everyone who resides in the manor. The next morning, a detective, MacGuffin, and a deputy are sent to investigate the death. Over the next few months, Lucius carefully picks off the manor's inhabitants through both everyday household objects and a small roster of supernatural powers that he gains over time. Each death is constructed to look like an accident. The poisoning of one of the manor's inhabitants leads to further investigation. Catching his Uncle Tom having an affair with one of the housemaids, Lucius plants false evidence that pits the blame on another maid, Jovita, staging her death as a suicide. Lucius then kills an alcoholic and repressed Tom by poisoning one of his bottles using a vial hidden in a satanic ritual room located behind the manor's wine cellar. Charles begins to have suspicions of Fabius after he vehemently refuses to attend Tom's funeral. MacGuffin, having been sent away by a grieving Charles, confesses to his sins and sends 2 priests to the manor. Fabius sends the priests away and knocks out a journalist who had broken into the manor for a scoop on the deaths. Realizing Lucius' true calling, he awakens Lucius and the two sneak off to the wine cellar where he plans on sacrificing the journalist. Deducing that Fabius is no longer necessary for him to complete his mission, Lucius betrays Fabius by stabbing him in the back, his blood filling the bowls on the table instead of the journalist's. The journalist, no longer unconscious, battles Lucius but is killed by him, using his newfound pyrokinetic abilities. In the aftermath of both deaths, MacGuffin finds himself in hot water over the journalist's disappearance, and a worried Charles stumbles upon a book detailing his father's satanic rituals. Piecing together that his father had a much darker past than he let on, Charles theorizes that Lucius has become cursed as a result of Fabius' actions. As he tries to find evidence to prove this to a mentally unstable Nancy, Lucius plants a nail gun and forces him to kill her using his supernatural powers as MacGuffin and his deputy arrive on the scene. Charles pits the blame on Lucius and runs away. MacGuffin gives chase and Lucius is put into the care of MacGuffin's deputy. After Lucius kills him with a ceiling fan, he manages to set the manor ablaze with a fireball. As the manor is quickly engulfed in flames, Charles returns with the 2 priests that MacGuffin originally sent to fend off Lucius. Should Lucius assault all 3 at once, he will crush Charles to death with a pillar and meet MacGuffin as he leaves the manor. Should he, instead, choose to pick them off one at a time, he will nearly be killed by Charles. MacGuffin, arriving on the scene, kills Charles before he can lower a fire extinguisher on Lucius's head. MacGuffin leaves the manor with Lucius, still clueless of the fact that Lucius was responsible for all of the deaths, setting up the events for Lucius 2: The Prophecy. And that's it. I hope that it gave you a good information about Lucius 2012, but if you enjoyed this video then leave a like and subscribe to the channel to support me. Leave a comment down below with your thoughts. Until next time, take it easy.